Thank you so much for watching, listening. Stoked to have you here, and check it out. We're starting a new series. But just want to give a shout out. Do you realize we're over 3,000 subscribers to our YouTube channel? Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And of course, I invite you, welcome you to subscribe. That'd be fantastic. And I'm going to have some questions for you. I want you to kind of interact with me a little bit here, because this series, and leave comments, thumbs up, all that stuff, because this series is pretty interactive. And this series is called Flip the Script. Flip the Script. You're like, what does that mean? Well, if you think about it, a lot of times you watch a movie, you read a book, whatever, and it has like a script to it. And you think, oh, I know what it's going to be. I know the outcome. It's going to normally go da-da-da-da-da. But I want to just say that with Jesus a lot of times flips the script. And he doesn't do exactly what you expect, or he kind of does a sharp, perpendicular turn, and doesn't necessarily, he flips the script. And the first example of this we read about in Luke 9, verses 54 to 56. And I'm going to, over the course of this series, I'm going to point out some interesting experiences, stories, situations where Jesus doesn't do what you would anticipate or expect. So answer this question. Has Jesus ever flipped the script for you? Leave a comment there, and maybe say he did in this, or he hasn't, or didn't do what you expected, didn't do what you anticipated, didn't do what you prayed. Has Jesus ever flipped the script for you? And so the first example, like I said, in Luke 9, verses 54 to 56, is Jesus and his disciples are going through Samaria, and Jesus has determined, it says it a couple verses earlier, he's on his way to Jerusalem. But as he goes through Samaria, the people there, Samaritans, find out that Jesus is on his way to Jerusalem, and the Samaritans are cranky with Jesus for setting his face towards Jerusalem. And it's kind of this traditional antagonism between Jews and Samaritans. I mean, this is kind of historical. It's not anything all that new. There's ethnic conflict, and reasonably so. They've had a long-standing history of conflict, tension between these two ethnicities. And I think that's interesting because ethnic conflict is not a new thing. Like here in America, there's ethnic conflict and tension. If you've ever experienced that or been a part of that, just give a thumbs up on that right now, because it's absolutely something we deal with in our modern living is ethnic conflict. And this is what Jesus was in and experiencing. And as a result of the Samaritans being cranky and hostile towards Jesus about him going straight to Jerusalem, not hanging out in Samaria, James and John were upset that the Samaritans didn't welcome Jesus. And so they say to Jesus, hey, do you want us to call down lightning and fire on the Samaritans to consume them, and the judgment, the anger of God, like Elijah or something. And I like what Jesus does. He flips the script, because he's like, hey, wait a second. You need to understand the Son of Man, and he answers them. And he doesn't do what they are suggesting or proposing. And they have biblical premise, justification for their righteous indignation. But Jesus says this in verse 56. He says, the Son of Man did not come to destroy men's lives, but to save them. And I think sometimes Jesus wants to flip the script for us, because we can have our righteous indignation at the world around us. They shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be saying that. You should, and we get hostile and cranky, and they're not receiving Jesus in the right way, and Jesus is saying, wait a second, dial it back. People, no matter how they treat Jesus, Jesus will be kind and gracious and compassionate and forgiving. In fact, Jesus teaches us to forgive those to love those who hate us, to forgive those who are abusive with us. Doesn't mean we put ourselves in conscientiously and routinely abusive scenarios, but Jesus absolutely flips the script. And he flipped it on these guys. And these guys had been with Jesus for probably 2 years at this point. And Jesus is pretty amped up, saying, I didn't come to hurt and to condemn and to destroy, but rather I came to save. And so I think it's important for us to think about that. because Jesus came to save the world around us, came to save the world, came to save us. So if we're genuinely followers of Jesus, walking in Jesus' footsteps, then we are facilitators of Jesus' salvation, to flip the script. And so I just want to thank you so much. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. Hit the notification bell right there. And I just want to encourage you. I'm going to give you a joke today because I didn't give it to you at the beginning. Normally I'm giving it to you at the beginning. But just to wrap this up, think about this. Do trees ever poop? And you're like, oh no, you can't be doing that. I'm flipping the script. Check it out. So yes, trees poop because that's how they make number 2 pencils. I know, you're like, Sarah, I know. It's a little bit of a juvenile humor, but still got some funny to it. So again, thank you for subscribing. Hit the notification bell right there and answer this question. As you think about Jesus flipping the script, is there something in your life now that you would like Jesus to flip? To turn upside down, to go inside out, to make an abrupt right turn, right? Perpendicular, instead of going this direction, now we're going to go crosswise, so to speak. So answer that question. Thanks again, and we'll catch you next week.